Hello everyone, welcome back to another election prediction video. This time we have Joe Biden versus RFK Jr. versus Donald Trump. The reason this is a separate video from the Biden v. Trump prediction is I do think RFK's support is going to dwindle down as the election season goes on. So I think it's just better to make this a separate video. Because RFK, he does have a considerable amount of support. It's usually averaging at about 15%, which is enough to get into the presidential debates. So if that support is consistent, I would be shocked. I do expect it to go down. I mean, sometimes independent candidates do a lot better than the polls say, like earlier on in the election. But we have to see, which is why I'm just making it separate videos. But again, RFK will have a different impact on each state. I don't think he hurts one candidate either way. In like general, I think it's about pretty mixed. But in some states, he hurts Biden more, in some states it hurts Trump's more. That's just how his coalition's built up. It's not going to solely hurt Biden like some people are suggesting. I think he actually hurts Trump in a few swing states, and I'll just get into that in this video. So the first few states I'm going to be ranking. Iowa, I think, is going to be a safe Republican state. Even though I could see RFK taking away some votes away from Trump in this state, it's just trending so Republican that it wouldn't really matter. In the state of Ohio, I think it's just pretty mixed. I still think Trump wins this by a likely Republican margin or so. In Colorado, I think it stays as a safe blue state. But Alaska, I could see RFK having the best performance here out of any state. I think this is the state that, if possible for him to win, like hypothetically, he would have to get like 25% of the vote to win a state, and that state would probably be Alaska. So that's like the one state he could actually win if he gets higher in the popular vote. But for now, he's only at 15% in this scenario. So I do think he hurts Trump quite a bit in the state of Alaska. I mean, he could even potentially get second here against him, because Alaska does have that independent streak with independent candidates in this. So I would have it as a likely Republican state. Trump only wins here by 6. It could be Biden just behind him in second with RFK in a strong, very strong third place, I would say. But again, he would do pretty well in this state. RFK Jr., that's the one state has a potential of flipping. It's a small rural state, which is always beneficial for independent candidates. All right. So let's get into the next few states. The state of Florida, I would have it as a likely Republican state. I don't think anything would shift this from going to safe Republican or lean Republican. I think likely is a good place to place it. Texas, on the other hand, I could see RFK hurting Trump a bit in this state just because, again, Trump doesn't do as well as the urban areas in Texas as other Republicans do. So I could see RFK taking a bit of support away from Trump here, which is why I have it as a lean Republican state. But still not enough for Biden to flip it. I think Trump probably wins here by 4.4%, I would say. So it's almost likely. In the state of New Mexico, I could see Biden doing a bit worse here because of RFK Jr. Again, I do think a bit of voters here are just anti-Trump. So I think that would take a bit of support away. Same with Virginia. I could see his margin go down here a bit for Biden against Trump. In the state of Georgia and North Carolina, though, RFK being in the ballot actually helps him in the state of Georgia, according to the polling, and it slightly helps Trump in the state of North Carolina. Not by much, though. Really doesn't change it by much in North Carolina, but it definitely changes a lot in Georgia. Surprisingly, RFK Jr. has a lot of black supporters in the polls, which is just mind-boggling to me. I would expect it to be a more like wider demographic behind him, but that's just not what the polls are saying. Apparently, a lot of black voters support him, which is quite surprising to me. Okay, the next few states, Nevada and Arizona. Arizona, I think RFK being on the ballot actually helps Trump, and here's why. It takes away that moderate independent voter, which usually would back Biden in a scenario like this. So, again, RFK being on the ballot here actually helps Trump in the state of Arizona. And this is one of the states RFK actually has a pretty good support in. Like, some polls even have it at like 26%, according to the New York Times poll, which is quite shocking. So maybe I should do a video on like what states RFK would have the best chance at winning, if you guys would be interested in seeing that. That could be an interesting one. But Arizona is one of those states where he does pretty darn well in. In the state of Nevada, however, I still think Biden has a narrow advantage here. Again, at the state, just Democrats are frequently underestimated and they always kind of pull off a victory here. They actually have good get out to vote operations too. So, narrow tilt Biden state. In Nebraska's second, I think it would just kind of be the same margin. Even the RFK would do some impact to Biden here. It's still a very blue district after all. Maine at large, this is one of the states where I could see RFK doing pretty decent in. It's a smaller rural state, which I think will be the most beneficial for him, which is why I think he hurts Biden slightly here. And he might even hurt Biden or Trump slightly in Maine second, because this is one of the districts he'd probably do extremely well in. So I only have this as a lean GOP district. So Maine's just getting brighter on all fronts instead of more likely. The state of New Hampshire, I could see RFK hurting Biden a bit here, but not enough to change the result in New Hampshire. Minnesota, I think it kind of depends here. I think he could hurt Trump, he could hurt Biden here. It's kind of mixed, so I have it as a lean blue state. The state of Wisconsin, I think it's a pretty mixed here, but I still think Trump would have the narrow advantage in Wisconsin. In Pennsylvania, however, I think RFK Jr. actually hurts Trump more in some of the polls I've seen. He just takes away a lot more populist voters from Trump, and more independents here are willing to vote for Trump than any other states. So I think Biden actually gets a narrow victory out of this just because of RFK taking away support away from Trump here. In the state of Michigan, I would also have as a tilt blue state. It's quite unpredictable, but RFK is kind of mixed support here. So a narrow Trump victory, RFK being in, probably actually makes it worse for Trump to win the general election, surprisingly. He just hurts him in a bit more swing states than Biden. So Biden does better in Pennsylvania and maybe a tiny bit better in Michigan, while Trump does a bit better in Wisconsin, Georgia, North Carolina, Arizona. But Nevada, I think Biden does a bit better because of RFK. But other than that, a very close election with RFK being in the mix. It just makes it a lot more complicated on how the votes would land. But let me know what you think of this video in the comments below. And if you aren't subscribed already, you should totally do so. Other than that, I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.